Hello, everybody. So we can start this breakout session. I wanted to briefly introduce myself. I'm Elisa Natola. I work for the Brazilian National Council of State Funding Agencies, and I'm the Brazilian national contact point for Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. So in this breakout session, we will give you some examples and experiences of projects implemented in the past program regarding research and innovation staff exchange. So research and innovation projects, collaborative projects implemented through staff exchange in an international environment, multi-sectoral and multidisciplinary. So I will just, we have, just to explain the dynamics, we have two guests, two researchers, which will share their experiences with us, which will talk more approximately 5 minutes each. And after that, we will enter into the questions and answer session. So you can put your questions in the box, and then I will read them out as soon as they finish their presentation. So first of all, I would like to invite Laura Isola. Thank you very much for being with us. She's professor at the Faculty of Philosophy and Letters at the Universidad de Buenos Aires, and in the Master of Latin American Literary Studies at UNTREF in Argentina. Laura participated in the Cultural Narratives of Crisis and Renewal RISE project in 2018. With mobility with Newcastle. So Laura, can you please share your screen with us? And very welcome.
Hi, very welcome. Okay, I'm going to, hi. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I did in my RISE, okay, investigation. Let me see. The name of the project was Cultural Narrative of Crisis and Renewal, the CRIC in 2018. I'm a professor of literature and visual art, so I focus my investigation there. And what I think is, I can, oh yeah. Wait, this is where I have. Yeah, I'm going to start again. Sorry. Share here, and this is here. Okay. Yeah. I split the presentation in two different times. One is before traveling, that what we have to do is to choose the approximated date of travel, which we are talking about. It has to match our calendar, because I'm from Buenos Aires. It was a South American calendar with the European calendar. So this is sometimes going to be a little bit tricky, because as you know, the difference of the different calendars, maybe you have to change a little bit. And define okay, the dates of your intervention at the university that offers hospitality with the responsible of this university. And the other thing that is a little bit more bureaucratic is to write to the responsible of the funds, so she or he can instruct you, and who's going to send the funds corresponding to stay. Okay, at this time it was 2,000 euros per month, so we get another amount of money, which was 5,000 euros, excuse me, and we can afford also the ticket and the mobilities, or where you have to, the accommodation. We are in a RISE, we were in a in the RISE programs. We are in the RISE programs as well. But at this time, I have the relation with the University of Newcastle. So I found the accommodation there, and I bought my own ticket. What I'm trying to say with this, that all the arrangement, you have to do it by yourself. Yeah, you have to keep this contact, to keep in contact, to choose to write your host and everything. You have to do it by yourself. Which I did during the stay. I gave a seminar in the University of Nottingham, because I have a colleague, a friend who is working there, so she invited me. Okay, the title was I don't care. I don't know if you care, but because the title was Fatiga de Materiales, una poética del exceso en las puestas e instalaciones de Marcos López, Diego Bianchi y Nicanor Arias, because this is one of my main research, which is 3 Argentinian artists. So I use the University of Newcastle for my research. I work with my colleague in Nottingham, which is a city very near from Newcastle. And I have a very good relationship with Patricia Oliard, who was my host in Newcastle. This is very important for during the stay, to have one person, professor, to do all this arrangement, to have this relation during if you have to need, if you need some, if you need some information and everything about this. I spent 1 month there in Newcastle, which is it was a very nice experience, because it was a beautiful small town, and it was perfect to investigate, to research, and to stay there in very quiet and very quiet and very nice place. I don't know if maybe in the questions, no, I need.
Yes, yeah. Well, we will do the questions after.
Okay, so yeah, perfect.
To conclude, I can now pass the floor to Jadel Kratz, now research, and very welcome as well. Now Research and Development Manager for the Drugs for Neglected Diseases Initiative. Jadel took part in MSCA Staff Exchange Project when he was a researcher at Innsbruck University in Austria. So very welcome. If you wish to share your screen with us, remembering that we have 5 minutes, and then we pass to the question and answers.
Okay, thanks, Elisa. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to quickly share my slides here. I hope you can hear me well, and now also see the slides. Is that cool? Good. So thanks again for the opportunity. So I'm a pharmacist by training, and I've been working on drug discovery for a couple of years now, and I'm in the organizers, they invite me to tell my testimonial as a part of the one of the mobility projects from the European Union. And the project I worked at the time, it was called HERScreen. And this was a project related to evaluation of the toxicity and possible toxic effects of botanicals, food supplements, and dietary supplements. So this was a project that it was a large network. It started back in, I think the leading partner submitted the project back in 2011. And this project comprised 9 different partners around the globe. So the leading partner was the University of Innsbruck in Austria. Later on, the leadership of this project moved to University of Vienna, actually. But it started at the University of Innsbruck. So, and there were another 3 other partners in Europe. So these were the beneficiaries. They were both in Greece and Austria. But there were also partners that outside Europe, from the United States, 2 from Brazil, and 1 from South Africa. At this time, I was a postdoctoral researcher at the Federal University of Santa Catarina. I just finished my PhD at the time, and I was going through my first postdoc. And some connections was previously done through the partners. So some of the partners knew each other. So the leading professor at the University of Vienna, they knew another professor from Santa Catarina, and he invited me to join this proposal in order to work in a completely different field from what I used to work. So this project was a 4 years project. It started in March 2012 and ended in March 2016. I was not really involved in the conception of the project or the submission of the project, but I was the first secondant actually of this grant. So this project was very much focused on, as I said, there were several work packages and multiple deliverables in terms of the R&D project. I won't go much on the details there, but this project, apart from let's say the technical perspective, it was also had a strong component of mobility and building sustainable networks of partnerships. So very much the idea behind the RISE and other projects that we are discussing in this event. So during this project, there were actually 57 planned short-term or extended secondments for scientific staff. And as I said, I was the first one. And this is the picture from the kickoff meeting. I'm here. I look much younger there. It's really cool. And during the kickoff meeting, it was really just to get all the partners all together. And following that, multiple partners both from Latin America, Africa, and the US went to Europe and the other way around as well. There were plenty of short-term secondments, like 2 to 3 months to present courses and build connections, but also 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, longer extended secondments. I took part in a 12-month secondment. And these were all based on doing really experimental work in the lab, but also training, teaching opportunities, and also workshops. During this project, there was annual workshops. Every year there was a meeting to catch up on the results and also disseminate the results to the community. So we organized 4 workshops during the 4 years. And one of these projects were also organized in Brazil. And when I was back, I took part on that organization. It was really interesting opportunities. And I really can't go into much of the details, but I think it will be good to highlight some of the positive aspects of this collaboration. I think this project was a very much a multidisciplinary effort. So many of the secondments or the researchers engaging in these mobility schemes, they were going into new areas of research, myself included. I used to work very much in a wet lab in life sciences, really doing like cell culture, viral culture, things like that. And I went into more computational studies, predictions, and development of computational models. So I took the opportunity of this project to go into a new, different area, and I was not alone on that. I think that was a very strong component of our project. So a lot of people took opportunities to do that. And this was really interesting. It was something that was highlighted as an important part of the project. The technical work went quite well. There were several shared publications. I think I published, I only took part, I participated in this project for about 2 years. And then I left the university and went to the private sector. But we have shared publications. I think we had at least 3 papers published all together with different partners, and also the workshops that were really cool. We also organized several short courses and secondments, as I said. And at the end, this project resulted in a Horizon 2020 follow-up project later on. Also, the collaborations that we started, they were strong. Some of the partners are still working together, like more than a decade afterwards. Some of them were actually knowing each other during that project. So these long-lasting collaborations really have happened through this project. And I got a permanent position also at the University of Vienna afterwards because of this project. I didn't stay there for long because of other opportunities, but I got a position through this collaboration, knowing each other and knowing about our expertise. So I think these are nice parts of this project, and I hope this will instigate you to join these sort of projects and scheme. It was very helpful for me and also for all the partners here, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I will
Thank you very
stop sharing
much.
now, Elisa. Hope this was
Yep.
correct.
Yes, fine. So thank you very much for sharing your experience. Really, I truly believe that this type of cooperation scheme is it's a very great opportunity to develop new things, because it allows also short-term mobility, so you can interact in a very wide network through, depending on the case, but through short or medium-term mobilities. And this is a great opportunity to generate new opportunities, new cooperations, participating in new collaborative projects. So this is very positive and has very big impacts. And I have seen this personally, as I participated as well some time ago in similar projects. So let me go to the questions. This first one, I would ask to Laura to answer. They ask if the person or the host institution you interacted with in Europe, if you knew the person before, or did you? How did you get in contact with this person? Because it is interesting to know how to create such contacts and networks. Is it based on previous contacts, or was it something that you looked for? Did you know the people before?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I have in my presentation, I have two persons. One was a friend, a colleague, who she is living now in Nottingham. This is a previous relation, but directly with the CRIC, Patricia Oliard, who is a professor of the University of Newcastle. She was in Buenos Aires before, so we met. We have the opportunity to know each other. But if you don't have this opportunity, you have a network of all the professors that you can send an email or establish a relation before you travel. So this is what I have. I have the opportunity to meet her before, but it's not always is possible to do this this situation. But you start the contact with the host before, because this is very important. Because in this way you know where you're going, and you know how to handle with all this information that you need, the accommodation, the payment, the funds, I know some many tiny things, but maybe you need a credential to go into the library, and this is what you need before, to know all the things to go to the place, no? To the university.
Yes, for sure. Having previous context is very useful and positive. And so let me go to the next question. A person asking from Guatemala is interested in doing a joint PhD with a joint institution in Costa Rica and one in the United Kingdom, and is asking specifically if the person is looking for funding opportunities for short-term visits of 6 months in the UK, and if this program may be an option. So I can just briefly introduce. The answer is yes, because the mobility schemes which are supported through staff exchange program can be from 1 to 12 months. So you can do either short-term mobilities or long-term mobilities. And we have seen also in the presentation of Boriana that this can be a mixture, because before it just was 1 whole month at minimum. Now you can put together several staff inside that month. And this is very important, because maybe people who have contracts and have not this possibility. So it's quite flexible, and it is adaptable to the needs. So maybe do you want to integrate and complement, giving your suggestions? Do you have any observation in terms of duration of the mobility, something that you have experienced through your experience?
I can give a few words on that. I think it's good to have flexibility, right? Yeah. So sometimes it's hard to move away from your country or even from your current position for several months. It was the case for me. So it made a lot of sense for me to stay for a longer period, 6 months or even 12 months in my case. But it's also important to consider and have the option to stay for shorter terms. For example, training sessions or even starting to build the relationship with a new partner can be done in much smaller period of time, right? So it's good to have that option open. That's for sure.
Just one thing I wanted to complement is that this type of project implies the creation of a consortium, or a group of partners. So an individual researcher cannot apply individually for a short mobility or a medium-term mobility. It has to be in the context of an institutional network and institutional partnerships. Within this network, all this is possible. And this also answers to other people who would like to make some short-term mobility, also indicating the time. They say, I would like to go from May, November. This is not that easy because before the call has to be launched and evaluated. So it's not that quick. So if the call is going to be launched by the end of the year, we have to consider some time of evaluation, more or less 8 months, and then it's possible. But actually with the pandemics, it's better if it's next year. But this is a planning that is possible to be done. And another person asking that would like to be involved in the master's degree. No, sorry. I didn't understand the question. Studying at the Mexico from the first master's degree. Well, I mean, an important thing to remember is that this is this staff exchange scheme is the most flexible in terms of who can participate, because some are only for postdocs, so others are for who's doing the doctorate. The research staff exchange scheme is very open, because it also involves technical staff, administrative staff. So it's a very mixed type of project. And in this sense, I think it would be, if I may give a question, how does your projects combine this multi-sectoral dimension? How has this been a positive element in the implementation, involving academic, non-academic actors? So how can this be a nice type of solution for who wants to implement a project that is not exactly only academic, but also has the innovation component? I don't know who of the two wishes to answer.
I can give a few words on that. Maybe Laura can complement afterwards. I mean, during the project that I just mentioned, it was a pure academic effort. But later on, the Horizon 2020 project, we had a startup and also 2 large companies involved. And I think there are several positive points on that. Some of the expertise present in the academia sometimes are needed at the private sector side. And on the other way, sometimes the private sector, they have access to facilities or equipment or resources that are not available at the academia. So it makes a lot of sense to combine these 2 different, let's say, spheres of activity. It's very much an effort, I think, from the funding agencies, right, to connect the efforts from the academic sector with the private sector. Being a private sector that is profit-driven or non-profit-driven, it doesn't matter. I think this is very good. I think also the mentality is sometimes different. I think there's a lot to learn from each other in terms of like how to think science, how to implement projects, about project management, about how to deal with agreements, and also reporting and trying to even thinking about the technical bits of your project. I think it will make a lot of sense to interact with these different actors. And it also can help regarding mobilities. You know, sometimes you work in a collaboration project with the private sector, you might get a position later on into that company or startup, for example. It might be something interesting for some of the PhD candidates or postdocs in this room. For example, this is something that I see in a very positive way. I did myself a transition from the academia to the private sector and later on to the third sector. And I think this was a very fulfilling for me. I learned a lot in those transitions.
Yes, actually, your answer also answered to several other questions of the same nature, asking of how this mixture of institutions can be combined inside the projects, and how this is created. This is created at the proposal phase. So in the proposal, you can build a consortium made of different countries and institutions, which can be academic and non-academic, and this is quite free and flexible in terms of who is eligible to participate. The program is very open and flexible in this sense, and it is a value that is well evaluated also in the evaluation stage. And another person is asking, how do I find partners? How do I get in contact with partners? Well, then I will pass the floor to both of you to say, how did you find your partners? But given an example, or there are partner search tools within the call. Within the call, there is a special partner search tool where you can look for partners, or also IRSES gives this type of services, and there are several means also through the NCP networks. Do you want to give some examples of how to search partners?
Yeah, I don't know exactly if I'm going to ask this to answer this question, but what we have was an institutional umbrella. It's a project with a lot of people in my university, and this program is the format of the program is we already have these partners in the RISE. Now we have a new project which is named TransArch. It's related with archives and things related with this cultural space, and we have this program. I don't know, set it in a way that you don't have to find partners by yourself. I don't know if this is because we don't need much money. We need money, but not much. So I think the cultural this kind of cultural project, there are more academics and related institution, but institution from here in the University of 3 de Febrero in Buenos Aires and Argentina, and all our partners are only universities of Europe. We don't have external, I don't know exactly how to say it, but we don't have another kind of partners, like I think if you are in a scientific in research or different kind. I think it's a little bit different. Related with the past question or subject, for me it was very important, not only the academic exchange, it was very important the social environment. I was there, I went to the galleries, to the museums, which is, for my experience, was very interesting, and I think that it was very appropriated. I don't know, it was very good to increase my knowledge, knowing this social culture, this environment, different environment. So the library was very good in Newcastle, so this is very good, because sometimes the libraries in Argentina are not good enough. So the experience to be there, to have relation with these books or this research and the place was very interesting, and I spent a lot of time there. For now, this is a quite different experience between this projects, I think.
Maybe I can complement that one, Elisa.
Yes, that's
Just
what
to
I was about
finalize,
to
I
ask.
agree with Laura. I mean, this is definitely a life experience. It changes your mind and your perspective. It's a very important component. You also learn how, for example, other groups work, how other universities are organized, and how things happen in different places. This helps a lot. But regarding the partnership selection or the partner selection, this is important to highlight that a lot of these discussions, I mean, who is going to be part, who is the leading partner, what are the roles, and how to build the proposal. This happens before the submission, right? So this happens all before submitting the project to the funding agency. So a lot of these partners, they know each other from conferences or from working together before. But there are also some new partners that can be reached out. I mean, you can find let's say a publication that you really like or that has a key result in your area. Maybe you can contact that partner and say, hey, we are planning to submit this project to Horizon 2020. Maybe you want to join us. I mean, it can also happen in multiple ways. So this is all done before submitting the project. So a lot of work is even before you know the project will be approved or not. So it's good to have that in mind.
Yes, and connecting to what you said, I'm connecting with another question. A person who has already a cooperation agreement between institutions, and how would be the next step? The next step is to create a proposal and submit a proposal. So it's not individual, it's not only based on previous cooperations. It has to be formatted in a research and innovation project, which will be implemented through mobility and staff exchange between academic, non-academic sectors, interdisciplinary, and so on. So it has to be, the call still hasn't opened. One other question is, when is the deadline? We still have to wait for the call. This is an anticipation. So more or less in October, date to be confirmed, the call shall be launched, and it will close in 2022. So you have time also to start all this networking and try to understand how you can put together different entities around one research and innovation project. And it has to be a new project, which also justifies why you are having these partners together. What is the objective? Why are they? What is the exchange about? And could you please repeat the name of the call? The calls, we will publish also some information material. So the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Staff Exchange call shall be launched in more or less at the end of the year. And other people are asking where they find the calls on the participants portal of the European Commission. So as in the national networks, because, for example, CONFAP disseminates, and in Brazil, for example, we do our dissemination, IRSES disseminates, so great visibility is given when they will be published. And then other people are asking about the themes, if some research theme is possible, is eligible, and so on. And I think, as we heard before, it's bottom up. So every theme is eligible. There is no division between themes or what is not and what is eligible. It's really open, and this is a great flexibility and a great. That's why this is a very special call, because it's open to ideas, whichever ideas, and it has the potential of researchers is one of the focus, how the career is changed through this experience. And I think we had some great testimonials saying how this is very important on very numerous sides. So others asking, how do you get the funding? It's through an open competition, a call and a presentation. They're very competitive calls, so it has to be really, you have to dedicate a lot of time in the elaboration. And I wanted to ask to both of you, I don't see any new issue in the questions so far. How much time did you take to elaborate the proposal together with your team?
Maybe I can answer that. I think Laura will need to leave us. Unfortunately, she has a
yeah,
has a class.
sorry, but I have a class in a few minutes, so I need to
We're finishing.
leave the meeting. yeah, sorry, but yeah, I thank you very much to you, Elisa, and nice to meet you, Jadel, and everyone. I hope you have, yeah, I hope my experience had been useful for everyone. Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Going back to your question, Elisa, I think, as I mentioned, I was not directly involved in the proposal construction. When I arrived into this concept, it was already more or less done, and it was submitted by the time. But from my experience working in other projects, I think this took almost a year to build the proposal. I mean, identifying the partners, having several preliminary meetings, TCs, to discuss the project and organize work packages, deliverables, responsibilities, to discuss the policy around publication, intellectual property, and also in terms of like dissemination of results, and also budget. So you also have to discuss several things beforehand. So the construction of the proposal can be a significant, long process. So I think that for the proposal that was more involved into the proposal construction, it took us about a year actually. And then after we submitted, I think it took a few months until we knew it was approved. And then from approval, it took us additional months until implementation. I think it took us 3 or 4 months at least to discuss the agreements and implementing things. And depending on the situation now during the pandemics, it might take even longer.
Yes, that's the timing. More or less, the construction is quite it's time consuming, but it's good because it has to be, the selection is very hard, so it has to be really well written and with a lot of technical issues, as you said, milestones, deliverables, and follow all the directions, the directives in the guide for applicants, and so on. And after the deadline, the time for evaluation is approximately 5 months, and then there are more or less 3 months to finalize the grant agreement. So what we call time to grant is approximately 8 months after the deadline. And other people.
I see a question from Florence regarding if we need to have the collaboration agreement signed before submission or during submission. I think during our time it was not necessary. You only need maybe letter of support or letter of intention. And then if the grant is approval, then you go to the agreement's signature. Is that still the same, Elisa?
Yes, the agreement is through the joint submission of the proposal. But when there are third countries involved, you also need a letter of support. But it is, I mean, the really binding document is the proposal jointly submitted, and it's not only a fact of submitting. You have to put all your personal institutional data inside, your PIC number, your registration, so it has to be following all the rules. But this is how it happens.
It usually goes through the project office of the university, correct? So you have a project manager that will take care of that.
Yeah, because you need to have the official PIC number of the university. Somebody else was asking about themes which are open. As I said, just to reinforce, it's bottom up. All domains of knowledge are eligible, and this is and it has to also tackle global challenges, and there's a lot of things to create at this moment. So please, we have now. I think we have finished our time, but we're available to answer to specific questions. And I think my contact may be shared through the dissemination of this webinar. I will ask the organizers to share my contact as well, but your access also is available. And if any questions directed to me, they can forward it. And so I hope you got interested in applying, and more information will be made available. This is just a pre-event because the calls still are not published. They will be published further during the year. And it is a good idea also to look at the success cases. So to have an idea of how projects are constructed, you can have a look at other ideas in your specific research areas. In the European Commission's website, they have success cases to share. And okay, so thanks very much for your participation. And thank you very much, Edo. Nice to meet you. Muito obrigada.
Nice to meet you as well. De
And,
nada.
See you soon and keep safe.
Bye bye, ciao.